Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing really well. Today's video is one that I've been wanting to share for quite some time, but I keep putting it off. But today's the day. Today I'm finally going to share our bedroom makeover. I'm going to share the end result of how our bedroom's looking. Although end result, I use that term quite lightly, because if I'm being completely honest, I don't think our bedroom is finished. But I don't see us doing like any major changes for the next, I don't know, maybe 1-2 years, I don't know. So I figured I may as well just share where we're at so that you can see where we are post renovation, because for those of you that don't know, we bought this house in September last year, so September 2023, and we renovated it pretty much immediately. We didn't move in, we did some renovation works, and we moved in like end of January, early February this year. So yeah, so there's definitely been changes made. Things have changed since then, obviously, but what I really wanted to be able to do was just sit down and talk you through what we've done in our bedroom. So I'm going to put the camera down because I'm very conscious that if I try to actually like tour the room as I speak, this will probably get very shaky and just be not a great video to watch. So I'm going to sit you down, place you where you usually are when I film my videos, and I'm going to talk you through everything, and then I'll pop over some like close-ups of what I'm speaking about, if that makes sense, similar to my bathroom renovation video. Right, I've popped you down. This is where I usually film my like sit down chatty videos as well, so you'll probably recognize this background if you do watch those videos, but you can also see most of the bedroom behind me as well. So I thought this was a good spot to place you so that you can see as I talk you through, but this is like a good base. So we're in the master bedroom, as I said, and initially when we bought this house, this was packed with quite a lot of furniture actually. So we had a double bed in here. They also had a 2-seater sofa, a freestanding wardrobe, and the dresser. That specific dresser was here as well, and also some sort of like built-in, kind of like built-in wardrobes almost. It had 2 built-in sections on the side and then like an arch over the bed, and that's where the bed was. So if you look at our bedroom now, it was basically the opposite. So instead of having the bed on this wall, the bed was on that wall, and it just looked a little bit different. There was also red carpet in here, which was an interesting choice, but all the walls in that were all painted like white and stuff like that. We literally came into here and we knew we just wanted to give it like some TLC, but it didn't need any sort of major works. Also we thought, because when we started knocking down the built-in wardrobes, we actually came across a bit of a situation where those wardrobes they must have just been built in probably since this house was first made, to be honest with you, because when we started knocking that down, there was no ceiling. Much to our surprise, once the boys started knocking this down, was that there's no ceiling. So I don't know how well you can see it on the camera, but what you see sort of coming down from the loft is the insulation that is in the loft. And so this was quite a shocking surprise, to be honest with you, a shock basically. So that ended up causing a little bit of additional chaos, additional cost as well. As with renovating, everything is just expensive, everything is costly, and it's one of those things you can budget as much as you want to budget, but you're always gonna end up going over budget because unexpected things just come out of nowhere, basically, like missing a ceiling. So in this room we didn't expect to plaster or anything like that, but obviously where we didn't have that ceiling, we had to get that boarded up and then have plastering on that side of the wall, because even behind where the wardrobes was brick. It was literally the brick of our house. There wasn't any plastering or anything like that. So it did end up needing more work than we had anticipated. But once that was all done, the rest of the room pretty much stayed the same. I mean, there wasn't much more to happen here. We didn't plaster this whole room because it was fine and plastering is very expensive. In terms of like major works, that was really all we had to do in here. The rest was pretty much okay. So we changed up the layout, as I said. We sort of flipped things around, and then it was time to choose paint colours. Now when it came to picking paint colours, I knew I wanted something quite calming and neutral in our bedroom, so we went for LYX Beige 03, and I love this colour. It's one of the colours that gets complimented the most in our house actually. A lot of people, when they see this colour, really like it in here, which does make me very happy. This colour is, in my opinion, it's got a bit of a green undertone, but in the evenings it does sort of come out a little bit grayer as well, because this side of the house is northwest facing, so it gets darker earlier, and it's just typically darker compared to the rest of the house. But with that said, I think the Beige 03 just really encapsulates that quite nicely. It's definitely got a slight green undertone, a slight neutral undertone, but I really like that in this room. It's just the perfect sort of cozy cocoon, so this colour was perfect. We do have picture rails in this room, in every room of the house bar the bathroom and the kitchen actually, but every other room has picture rails, which were an original feature in this house, and personally we didn't want to get rid of any of those original features because they're just such nice features to have in an old house. So we kept our picture rails and we kept the bedroom picture rails. So above the picture rail we went for just white for the ceilings and white for above the picture rail. This is something that honestly I'd never really thought about, because I'd never really seen houses with picture rails, to be honest with you. Like, it's not necessarily something that I was used to seeing. So when I saw them in this house, I was basically umming and ahhing, do we go for the whole wall in this paint colour, or do we keep the picture rail white to match the ceiling? And that's what we went for, and I quite like that. I think it works quite nicely for our bedroom as well. I know there's so much going on with like colour drenching and just being a bit more, how should I say, a bit more adventurous with colours. We're not quite there yet. This is our first house, so it's the first house we've ever decorated. It's the first time we've ever sort of made big decisions like this, and I will be honest, personally I wasn't quite ready to go for these bold colour choices and colour drenching and things like that. Maybe in the future it's something we will consider in here, but for now I'm fairly happy with it like this. We also have white skirting boards as well, which I know is another kind of not so fashion forward thing to do, but we quite like it. And I think even with our radiators being quite like just simple white radiators, it's kind of nice to tie that into the white skirting board as well. So for me personally, I'm not opposed to it. I do still really like it. Then onto our flooring. Our flooring as well runs through the majority of our house, bar the bathroom and kitchen, but every other room in our house we've gone for the same flooring. So we have an engineered wood by UK Flooring. It's a dark oak wood, and both Andre and I knew we wanted dark wood floors. I don't know why, but it was just one of those things that we both, when we started thinking about flooring, we were both like, yeah, dark wood. And it's one of those things that we just instantly agreed on, and I have to say I love it. I do think it looks so luxurious, so nice. And another great thing is if you have dark hair like I do, that is apparently constantly falling, this floor is the best because you will not see it, so that's a plus. However, a negative is that if there's any slight speck of dust, as soon as the light shines in that spot, it's out in the open, like everybody can see it. So it does require a bit more TLC, but it's something that we're very happy with in terms of our flooring choice and our flooring decision. We're actually really happy we went for this all over the house. I just think it works really beautifully. And the thing with wood flooring as well is that you can always add rugs and you can add just textures in other ways, and I just think that a wood floor is easier to maintain and easier to clean and stuff as well. So that was definitely one of the reasons why we decided to carry on the wood flooring in our bedrooms as well. With that said, obviously we want to keep the bedroom nice and cozy, so a rug was also top of my wish list. Now our rug is from La Redoute and I love this rug. It's a beautiful floral design, but still quite in keeping with the colours of our bedroom, so very much neutral, not too in your face or just not too out there really. It's a nice subtle addition of print in our bedroom. One thing I will say though is I do think it's a little bit too small. Maybe in the future we'll upgrade and get a larger rug, but for the time being I'm very happy with it. You have just enough enough on either side of the bed for when you get out in the morning, your feet touch the rug as opposed to the wood floor that might be a little bit cold on a winter's day. I feel like that's put me in a bit of a weird order now, but from there, let's go into other fabrics in the bedroom. So we also have curtains. So the curtains that you see behind me, these are from John Lewis. They're available in an array of different colors. I actually toyed between this slightly more like neutral brown tone and also a lighter like cream color. So I did try out both of those, and initially I thought I would want the cream. However, I ended up going slightly darker, and I'm really pleased that I did. I think it just helps to sort of cocoon this room and make it feel even cozier. We have a large bay window here, so we did need wide curtains as well to accommodate that. So these are essentially like square, so they're really wide but also fairly long. I will link as much as I can in the description box down below of like the things that I share in the room, so that you can get more details and more information and like dimensions, things like that. Because I might forget to mention them as I'm obviously just chatting you through. But that's what we went with for our curtains. So these work really beautifully to open up like this or to close like we do in the evenings. As well as curtains, we have blinds as well. We just have some really sheer blinds from Dunelm. So they were really quite inexpensive actually. I think they look really lovely, and they were also fairly inexpensive, because when you're looking at fabrics and curtains, the prices add up. It does get really expensive. So these blinds, I'm so happy with them. The reason we have blinds and curtains is because I didn't like the idea of there just being nothing on the windows. It just felt like a lack of privacy really. So I really like these sheer blinds because it obviously offers a bit more privacy, but we still get in all the sunlight and all the daylight, and we can still see out. It just adds that little bit extra privacy, which I do really appreciate. But these are pretty much down maybe 90% of the time. I think we only really lift them if we have a window open and we don't want them to sort of like fly around, but other than that, they are pretty much closed all the time, and I love how they look. I think they look really beautiful and just help fill the room with natural light. A quick mention to our doors as well. I do think I briefly touched on this in our bathroom renovation video as well, but this bedroom is also upstairs, so it's got the same doors. Now the doors we have in here are original doors. They're beautiful doors. However, we got them stripped, and when they came back, they just weren't in as good of condition as I wish that they were. Unfortunately, the wood is just quite weak, it's quite battered, and it's quite ruined. So whilst we do still have these doors upstairs, we are thinking of replacing them. So initially we wanted to oil them and we wanted to just be able to restore them, but unfortunately that's just not going to be an option really. So we are looking at replacing those further down the line, but for the time being they're still the original doors, which I do really like. I like having this original feature. We did just change all the door handles to black door handles, which I love, and for the 3 rooms upstairs we also have these with the lock and key as well, so that added a bit of privacy I suppose for a bedroom. I do definitely think that the doors are a feature of the room, definitely a talking piece. I'm just really sad that they're not in good condition, so we won't be able to keep those long term. But I do think even moving forward, when we do replace these, I'm probably going to go for the same sort of wooden like effect, because I just think it looks really nice and really suits the house. So where shall we go to next? I think I'll talk about the wardrobes. So the wardrobes are directly opposite the bed. You can't see them in shot right now, but of course I will insert some clips. We have the IKEA Pax wardrobes. We had about, I think it was 3 meters 25 or something in that little nook, and so we definitely wanted to make the most of that space, and for us it just made the most sense to put in a wardrobe to fill in that space, because we need the wardrobe space obviously, and storage is always a good idea. So it works really well for us. We obviously are able to keep all of our clothes in here, which is fantastic. We keep our coats in here as well, because that just helps us with some additional storage, so that's worked out really nicely for us. I have actually filmed an IKEA Pax wardrobe video, so solely dedicated to our wardrobe space, how we sort of planned it, how the wardrobes look inside and all of that. I just haven't got round to editing it yet because our wardrobes also aren't yet quite finished. We still need to put some handles on them, we still need to like adjust the hinges and just like little bits like that, but that's been postponing that video. Hopefully I'll just edit it and get it up soon, because I guess the majority is there. It's just like the little finishing touches that we haven't quite done yet, but we'll be there soon. But the wardrobes are they're actually a mix. They're a mix of the wood grain effect and the beige colour, which the beige colour crazily matches so well to the paint in our bedroom. It almost looks like we've painted them to match, and that was my original plan. My original plan was to get white IKEA doors and then paint them in the exact same colour of our bedroom, but in the end I started seeing the beige colour popping up and I thought that looks very similar to the colour in our bedroom. Maybe I'm just going to buy those, and I'm so pleased that I did because they were a great colour match. My regret is that the like base of the wardrobe, so like the outside of the wardrobe, is in the oak as opposed to being in beige as well. I think if it was in beige as well, it would look so much nicer. But where we had that idea initially of painting, we didn't really think about that. So that's my one regret with our IKEA wardrobes. But luckily you don't really see that because it's sort of like tucked in away into the wall, so it's not too big of a deal. So in our bedroom we only have 3 other pieces of furniture, which seems so crazy for a bedroom, but that's literally it. So we've got the dresser, which is on the end there. Now that dressing table was left here by the previous owners and I just loved it. I think it's got that bit of added character and it's something a little bit unusual, something more antique looking. So all I did to that was change the knobs. It had some more like just vintage style knobs, which I didn't really like. It was also missing a few. So I just replaced all of those with some gold floral ones, which I thought were very nice, like kind of girly, but not too girly. Like still works really nicely in this room in my opinion. So I changed that and then basically made it my own. It currently stores hairdryer, hair products, like I don't know, deodorants, moisturizers, my makeup as well. Like it's really good for storage because it's really deep, so it fits a lot in there. As it's quite a low dresser, I had to search for the perfect kind of little chair to use, and I ended up going for a little footstool, which I love. I found this one on Debenhams and it's a white sort of boucle effect, but it almost looks like a flower. It's got this really nice detailing that in my opinion makes it look a bit like a flower, and I just love it. I think it looks really cute in the space. It fills the space so beautifully and it adds another element and another texture to the room, which I think looks really beautiful tucked away under the dresser. On top of the dresser, these aren't really bedroom related things, but I keep fragrances, I have an additional mirror, and I keep my jewellery storage box there as well. So it just houses everything that it needs to house, and I think it looks really quite pretty. And then obviously in the middle we have our bed. This is the John Lewis Emily bed, and we both wanted a bed that was high. They have different styles of this bed, so they have either with drawers, with no drawers whatsoever, or they also do an ottoman style I believe, but the ottoman bed would be lower, so we didn't really want that one, and we went for the drawers because it's always good to have some additional storage. I feel like I bang on about this so much whenever I speak about house things, but the drawers really help. There's only one on each side, but it works really well. On one side of the bed we keep extra bedding and bed sheets and things like that, and then this side, which is my side, really doesn't have much in there. I think it's got like a steamer and an extra pair of slippers, but I'm sure we will fill it up eventually. It's just good to have the option of additional storage should we need it. As for bedding, I am a big fan of white bed sheets. I just think it looks really nice, particularly in our bedroom because it is kind of just a bit darker and a bit moodier. I think having like fresh white bed sheets just really helps to brighten up the room and add in some extra colour. And then we also have some cushions to sort of add in a bit of colour. So we have 2 monochrome ones, both are from IKEA actually, and they're really nice. They're a big like squared shape, and I just think they look really nice on the bed because our bed is a king size bed, so I feel like it can take, you know, like more pillows, more cushions, and just more accessorizing. And then the pillows you see most frequently are the striped frilly cushions from Marks and Spencer. I love these. I got these, I think I had these before we had this house, or before we'd moved in. I think maybe I must have got them for Christmas last year, but I absolutely love them. They're in this gorgeous green colour, which I think complements the room so nicely. It kind of matches the green undertones from the wall paint as well. I just think they look so nice, and they always get complimented as well actually. I do really like them. I like the additional stripe as well in here because there's not too much like prints or things going on, so it's quite nice to add a stripe into the room, like a pop of stripe. We're definitely still missing some other pieces to sort of dress our bed, I'd say. Like, I'd quite like either a quilt or some sort of throw or something, just to add in a few more textures and colours. But these are all pieces that I feel like will be interchangeable with the seasons, so I'm not in a rush to look for those things, but they're definitely things that I have an eye out on. And then on this side, so just behind me, we have a bedside table, just a single bedside table. Luckily, we only had this one. This was actually one that my mum had, and she'd just been saving it for ages because I really liked it. And I said, oh, I'll keep it, like I might need it in my house, long before I ever had a house. But finally, it was time to bring it over, and I can't believe how good of a fit this was. So you'll know that this is sort of like an asymmetric kind of thing going on. We've got a normal bedside table, bed, and then the dresser. So we don't actually have two bedside tables because this kind of fit perfectly and it just like flowed nicely, in my opinion. So here on this bedside table, it's literally just got two drawers where I keep things like lip balms and just little things like that. And then above, currently it does just have this lamp, which I love. I love this lamp. This style of lamp was actually in my like first ever mood boards that I made for this room, and I couldn't believe when I spotted this in HomeSense that literally my mood board was there. So I picked this up straight away. It didn't come with a lampshade, but I have a feeling that someone may have removed the lampshade and it should have come with a lampshade. But regardless, I bought it anyway because I knew I absolutely wanted it. And then as for the lampshade, I just got one of the inexpensive ones from John Lewis. It's in this kind of, I'd say a cream colour, just because I didn't want anything too dark, because I still wanted it to sort of light up the room. And I just love how that looks there. It looks so perfect. Above that, hanging from our picture rail, I have a frame from Vintage Playing Cards. It's a really beautiful frame. It's got I Heart You, and I just think it's cute. It's cute for our bedroom. The dimensions fit perfectly just above our little bedside table. I think it just like evens things out so nicely. So I really like the look of that. You'll notice that above our bed, we don't actually have anything. And honestly, there's no particular reason why we don't. It's just because I haven't necessarily found a beautiful piece of art that I'd like to put there. I've thought about putting like a shelf there maybe and displaying a few little things, but as I said, we don't have a lot of stuff, so I feel like I would put a shelf there and not have anything to display. Andre also isn't too keen on having a shelf above the bed because it just seems like a bit of an impractical place to put it, which I have to say I do kind of agree. So for the time being, there isn't much there. You often can't even see the headboard of our bed, and I think it's because we have a lot going on. Other than that, oh my gosh, the lampshade. I love, love, love our ceiling light. It was one of the first things I bought for our house, which is just so random, but I spotted it on Marks and Spencer and I was like, yes, I love this, it's amazing, I want this. And despite knowing there was sort of like slightly more green undertones in this room, I just think it looks so good. So it's a navy blue and it's a sort of scalloped wavy effect, which I love. It's very popular at the moment, but I just think regardless of its popularity, it still looks timeless in my opinion. I really love it. I just think it's so beautiful. It's got gold like accessories or like gold detailing, which I think looks really nice. And then it's just this gorgeous like rich navy blue scalloped edge or like wavy edge ceiling light. It's one of my favorite features in this room. I know it might sound really sad because it's just a ceiling light, but trust me, it's one of my favorites. I love looking at it every day. Although one thing that you probably won't notice, but I'll let you in on anyway, our ceiling light isn't centered in our room. So when we initially moved in, the ceiling light was probably just above where I am because they used to have them quite close to windows. So it used to be more or less where I am. We decided to center it in the bedroom, but then we didn't end up having our bed centered in the bedroom because we didn't plan on having this kind of design or this kind of layout, I should say. We always thought that our bed would go into the middle of the room, we'd have two matching bedside tables. We always thought we'd go down the more like traditional routes. But then, because we ended up with the dresser and not really having a home for it, it fit like this and it just felt like it was meant to be. But then that did mean that our ceiling light is no longer centered. You can't really tell unless like someone points it out, but it's definitely one of those things that I find frustrating because we essentially told the electrician where we wanted the light to go and now it's not centered in the room, which bugs me sometimes. But it's one of those things. Good thing the light's a nice one. But with that said, our room post renovation is looking like this. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have any like tips as well, like interiors tips for like changing up things or like making it look a little more finished maybe. But I really wanted to share this video. Like I said, I am gradually working my way through the rooms in our house post renovation, so hopefully I'll share them with you gradually as well if they are still something you're interested in seeing. I've so far shared our bathroom renovation and now our bedroom renovation. Maybe next I'll film the kitchen renovation, because again, really happy with the kitchen and I don't see us making many, if any, changes to our kitchen in the near future. So that will probably be the next one. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well if you're new around here, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!